Have you ever noticed that there's a reason why some homes just look like they've got it all put together? Sometimes it's the furniture. Most of the time though, they all have one thing in common. I'm sure you know what that is. That is plants, but more specifically, the right plants. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 7 beautiful, underrated plants that photograph like magic, and honestly, I would put them in any home, anywhere. And I know they work because when I sell plants, these are the first ones to walk out the door, and I cannot keep up with enough cuttings from selling plants as a hobby online. Most of us hit a point where we've got a decent collection, we know how to keep plants alive, but the plant shelves start to look more cluttered than considered, really. I mean, the plants still look beautiful, but our spaces just don't feel or look like they do on all those Instagram posts that we keep finding everywhere. And then you go down this rabbit hole because you want more plants that are more beautiful, and you start to find all these expensive, rare, variegated somethings, and suddenly it feels like you need a huge greenhouse to have the most amazing looking house with your plants. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't. So let me show you the top 7 and you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so the first one I've got here is this begonia maculata. It's called begonia maculata. Now, I normally can't grow begonias. Actually, I suck at them. I'm learning. I've got one inside that's just okay. But this one here, I think, is probably the easiest begonia to grow out of all of them. I mean, I'm proof it's growing for me. And this one stays outside for me. And it seems to be okay with the breeze. It's not as fussy as some of the other begonias, and it's okay in the more dry air at about 40 to 50%. Sydney does get up to about 60% humidity, but this girl does really well outside, and I hardly do much to this girl. Just protect her from pests if I can. I mean, I don't always succeed. There's a half-eaten leaf there. But there's 2 big things, and plant collectors especially, or if you're getting into plants, they love about this. One is the polka dots themselves, right? You don't see many leaves out there with that type of pattern on them. There are variegated plants out there, of course, but not with specific round polka dots like these have. But the other thing that's really stand out and underrated is the colour behind the leaves. So on the mature plant, it's a lot more dark burgundy, and on the younger leaves, it's this beautiful, like red, full red, like blood red almost. And it just gives this extra dimension and depth to this plant. So whether it's a big one or a small one, I'll show you some earlier cuttings. This is definitely one of those plants that you must have in your collection if you haven't got it already. I promise you, it's easier to grow than you think. Okay, the next one I don't think needs any explanation on why this one always looks so good. The plant that I'm talking about is this one here. I've got a cutting ready to sell, and it is... Look at that. It is Syngonium Fantasy. I think some people know it as Syngonium albo. It's absolutely gorgeous. The leaves and the variegation are like so expensive looking. The new leaves come out really mottled. Now I do have a bigger plant. It's not doing so well. You'll see it in this video, but I have to cut it up. It needs a huge transformation, so that'll be a video sooner rather than later. But I just wanted to show you, this is a plant that is really easy to grow, is nowhere near as expensive as it actually looks, and is so worth it to either keep in your home as a statement piece somewhere, or again, if you're into selling plants, this one sells like hotcakes all the time. And again, no explanation why, but if for me as a plant nerd, oh, the white of the whiteness, like it's not yellow, the new comes out yellow, but it really goes white, if that makes sense. And the leaves can get pretty big. Look at that size of that one. That is almost the size of my hand, whereas the smaller ones start off quite small, right? So just absolutely stunning. This one is leaning a little bit because it was leaning towards the light on my shelf, but that's okay. Just beautiful. Mwah. So that is number 2. So this next one here may or may not be surprising. It's a calathea, and you either love or hate calatheas, I think. I absolutely love them, but I love all plants, let's be honest. So this is on the floor. Now, I went to look at this today, realised it's got mealybugs, so that's not the best, but this is my calathea orbifolia. There's one big leaf coming out. As you can see, look at the stunning, round, big, wide leaves on this thing. And even when they are smaller, got a little cutting here, or a division, I should say. Even when they're smaller, look how cute that is. It's just these big, beautiful leaves. Now, you can sometimes get brown edges and brown tips. That's more to do with watering of calatheas. This is not a how to look after calathea video, so I won't go into it, but just know they're actually not as hard as you think. If you're going to get a calathea to give it a go for your statement piece, get the arborfolia, because the big, fat, wide leaves make it look more designer than you would imagine, and make it look harder to grow than you think it is. The other one I would mention is also the calathea rattlesnake. That's pretty easy to grow as well. That's also a fairly good statement piece, but this is the one that moves the fastest and the one that everybody talks about in my world. And actually, I've had a viewer email this in for me as well. They've got a beautiful picture of the calathea. Have a look at this one. It's small, it's cute, but it's just stunning. And this is by 𝐻𝐤𝐿. So thank you for sending that one in. So yeah, I think that's such an underrated plant. Beautiful plant. Looks like it's got stripes on the leaves. And every time you see a new leaf grow, it's just, I think because it's so fat, every leaf is so fat, it's just stunning. So might be surprising to some, but this makes a beautiful statement in your home when it's got like 5 or 6 leaves and it's still very, very young with only 5 or 6 leaves. So definitely, again, another one I recommend. I think these are absolutely stunning. My number 4 recommendation out of this list of 7 is probably one of my favorite all-time plants ever. And okay, I'm just going to get it because it is absolutely stunning. It is this girl. Yeah. Oh, let me sit back a bit so you can see the whole thing. My Monstera albo. Monstera borsigiana, however you say it. Monstera albo is what we all know it as. It is one of the monsteras. You can get these big, bright green monsteras, all green, and the leaves are going to be twice the size. And while these leaves do size up and get all the fenestrations, they're not going to be as big as those really big ones, which makes it kind of easier to handle. Now, you can see why this is so stunning. Like, if it's a statement piece in a corner, this just stands out like nothing else. The variegation, and this one has got amazing variegation, I have to say, and it just keeps going because you can see the stem on this one is like mottled green and like yellow, that yellow white. So you know it's got good variegation if the stem is really variegated. Nice tip there. Now, I have to say, a lot of people worry about these things because the leaf, the white, goes brown, and it will go brown. I don't care how good you are, some of these will go brown. There is brown on these plants, right? Most of the time, if there's a little bit, I might cut it off, but the more I leave it on, the less it will deteriorate with the brown. Does that make sense? So try and leave it as much as possible because you can't really see it. So I wouldn't stress too much if you've got brown on your leaves. This has brown there, there's brown over there somewhere. There is brown on this plant, but it gets overtaken by the stunning beauty of the variegation and the fenestrations and the wide leaves and so many leaves on this one plant. It's on a really good stable moss pole that I repotted about 7-8 months ago now, I think. Still hasn't grown. It is a bit of a slow grower, I must admit, but so worth it to have it in your collection as a statement piece. Just make sure you give it lots and lots and lots of light. These guys need a lot of light. This girl gets bright sun at least maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, up to like 2-3 p.m. It gets some good sun. I've trained it to get a lot of sun. Don't just put it straight to sun, but absolutely stunning. As I said, one of my all-time favorite plants, this girl. And I do have a lot of cuttings of this around as well. I had an original one. There's been a whole story of this. It was in my IKEA cabinet. I've got a couple of videos all about it. It grew up to the top, got burnt, so I cut it all up into 13 or 14 different plants, sold off a few, and I've brought that one back to life, and I just keep propagating. I've got one here. There we go. A little cute propagation, but again, look at the variegation, and that will be one that I sell. I have about 10 of these around the house as well, but I've got to find places with bright light. But honestly, I mean, even that small, and look how cute it is. Look how cute that leaf is. It's just stunning, okay? So this one has to be on my list. It's the higher end, but you can get like something this size for $100, under $100 in Australia at the moment. So still worth keeping an eye on. Definitely have a look at Facebook Marketplace because that's where I see a lot of people sell these, including myself. But grab this one as a statement piece in your collection with a lot of bright light. Okay, so this next one is my number 5. This is called a Syngonium neon in my world. But this thing here is so surprising because of the like bubblegum pink that the leaves come out. Now you can see here in the distance, but as you see up close, the pink in real life is absolutely stunning. I love this color. And then you've got that bright pink against like the toffee apple green. And I think that, you know, contrast or juxtaposition or whatever you want to call it is just stunning and really unexpected. And so the two colors are because the newer leaves come out that bright pink, and then over time they fade back down to green, but they still have that pink vein through them. So there's still a bit of pink. But because it's a Syngonium and it's really quite easy to grow, you've always got pink and green everywhere, right? So this one here is growing up basically it's a wooden plank that I've like stapled moss pole onto it. I am that, you know, like professional when it comes to my moss poles. So it's a very easy moss pole, and I've got at least 4, maybe 5 stems on there, making it this full. So it's not just one plant, but just absolutely stunning. The color, how easy it is to grow, how easy it is to sell, and whether the plant is big or small, it doesn't matter. It just looks great because of that pink, because the small plants are always going to be quite young and juvenile, and therefore they show up with that really bright proper pop of pink. And I mean, who doesn't like pink plants, pink leaves? They are quite hard to find half the time. And so considering how easy this is to grow, it's a beautiful plant to talk about and make as a statement piece, because you can get it really big really quickly. So I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen this one before, go hunting for it, because you'll be absolutely surprised how much of a statement piece this really can be. Okay, we're down in the countdown. Number 6. This again might be a little bit surprising to some, but when you've got it as a full plant, the pattern on the leaves is just really striking. And that is this one here. This is the Scindapsus pixis. And the pattern is just absolutely gorgeous, a little bit different, like almost like an army pattern, but not an army pattern, a little bit spotty, a little bit, I don't know, blotched, I don't know what you call it. So I actually have this one here, as you can see in the background. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm just looking at it. I think it needs a bit of water, so bear with me. But I tried to grow it up a moss pole, and while the leaves do get a little bit bigger on the moss pole, they haven't really sized up yet. And we're about to go through winter, so it probably won't do much. So what I might do is actually try and grow one in a big wide pot, because I think it looks really good, really full, cascading, because the leaves don't seem to get that small. But just, again, underrated plant, but when you've got it with the right light on camera, or when you've got it like in a beautiful spot hanging off a shelf, it's easy to grow like a pothos. It needs a decent amount of indirect bright light, but it's just the leaves are just something very unique and different. And while it's still all green, it's almost a white and green, and it does look like a statement piece on shelf. It's one of those plants that I think when you've got it quite bushy and full, it looks so much more value for money than it will actually cost you. And they're very easy to find. And again, a very underrated plant in my opinion. Whether you're growing it up a moss pole, whether it's big or small, it just looks stunning. But another one here that I'm growing, these two are going to be sold sooner or later. But look, see, even putting those two together in one pot will just look absolutely stunning. Actually, I might even do that. Okay, we're up to the final one. Now, the final one here, I don't know, it's just stunning. I mean, they're all stunning today. That's the whole point of this video. But this one here, whether you've got 2 leaves or 20 leaves or 200 leaves on your plant, is the absolutely most stunning, easy to grow. Honestly, this is probably the one that I can't keep up with enough. You'll find them everywhere, and they still get purchased when you are trying to offer them to other people. And I have a little cutting here just to show how gorgeous it is. Mandula pothos. This is my number 7. And so I actually think, again, for the variegation on this thing, for how much white there is, it is so easy to grow. It's not funny. It grows like, almost to me, it grows like a golden pothos. Now again, because it has a decent amount of white on the leaves, it does need bright indirect light, a little bit of bright morning sun, direct morning sun between or before 10:30, 11, depending on where you live, obviously. Let me get comfy. But it's so easy to grow, and yet it looks stunning. I actually think this could be like a a wedding bouquet almost, right? Not flowers, but doesn't it look like that? Da, 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 da. Anyway, that's what I think with this little trail down, I guess. Some people do worry about the white going brown again, but unlike other plants that do have a lot of white variegation, this white stays white for a lot longer. You can help it along with some nutrients and some stability. Make sure, as I said, you give it a lot of white light, but don't stress too much because it's a lot easier to grow than you think. I mean, the cost of this versus the cost of a Monstera albo, and they give the same unique, beautiful statement piece in your house. I don't know, maybe this one should be my favorite. It almost is, if you can hear my voice. And also for the mandula, I have 2 photos sent in from viewers. These are amazing, and I love them because this first one here is a small cutie patootie from Laura. This is just beautiful, nice and healthy. And then the next one is from another viewer called Tony, and it just looks store-bought. This thing is so beautiful. And that's why it is number 7. It is the end of the video because you are finishing on one of the most underrated, stunning, gorgeous bouquet style plants that looks like it should be flowers, but you don't even need them because it's just stunning. So that is my number 7, Mandula pothos. It's actually a lot cheaper than you think. When you see it in nurseries, you just can't walk past it. It's absolutely stunning. And big or small or medium, they always, always, always look like a statement piece in your home. This one is going to make your house absolutely stunning. So I hope you can see from the 7 that I've showed you, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You don't have to have a huge greenhouse. You can bring some beautiful statement pieces, plant pieces into your house without spending too much and have them easy to grow. These 7 are the ones that as I said, I would put in any home, anytime, for any reason, really. It's just worthwhile going and buying these things. So tell me, out of these 7, do you have them all? Is there one of them that you're going to buy? Add it into the comments below. But I also know there's going to be people out there going, well, what about this one? And what about this one? So this is your opportunity. What plant am I missing from this piece? I can't wait to hear all of the comments. People are just going to share their favorite plants. I don't care. Amazing. What is your favorite, most photogenic, most beautifying plant statement piece that you have in your home? Please share it below. These are definitely my favorite in my experience that move the fastest. I mean, I know there's a lot more that I love. I can definitely put more on that list if I need to, but I chose these top 7 for a reason because they photograph absolutely beautifully, very underrated, and they are a statement piece. So that is it for today. Have an amazing week full of leaves, love and laughter. As I always sign off, make sure you go and grab all 7 or at least one of these if you don't have them in your collection. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, have a great week. Bye.